Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Rio Grande Valley service for today. It is May the 24th, 2020. I want to make a few announcements. This is Memorial Day weekend, and so I would like to take just a moment and offer a moment of silence to all our veterans, or all the people who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Thank you. The other announcements are, Let's Get Metaphysical classes continue on Tuesday evenings on Zoom. You can go to the web page or to the Facebook page, and the links are there. And I want to announce that we're working on trying to get the ARE group that used to meet on Thursdays to start doing it on Zoom as well. So stand by on that one, and we're going to try to figure that out. Maybe by Thursday, who knows, but it would be on the Facebook thing as well. We'll try to get it in there. Another one is that Melissa created a YouTube video channel. Hooray! So if you don't have Facebook or have a friend who doesn't have Facebook and you want them to see what we do, tell them, now I have it's called, what? What's the name of it? Unity Rio Grande Valley. Yeah, for the YouTube. Anyway, so it's that. Now, Marissa's also working on the bookstore, and she's going to try to see if we can figure out a way to sell things from there, and maybe you can come by on Thursday or one of the days. Yeah, curbside pickup. We can pick up one of the Unity magazines or a Daily Word or one of the books, like, for example, this one that I'm talking about today called Prosperity. We have a copy here. Come and pick it up. How much? $15? Okay, $15 it is. Hang going, one second. No. Also, we're going to have a board meeting pretty soon on Zoom, and we need to discuss the idea of when and how we could possibly start having services live again. We're not ready to do that just yet, but we can start talking about it. I did do a couple of little things here, came in and wanted to get an idea what a seating arrangement would look like in here, because, it's not very big. And I estimated we'd have about 20 maxed out at 6 feet distancing. So we're gonna work on that plan as well. So that's pretty much all the announcements I have for today. So let me start off with a couple of words. And I'd like to make them about healing, because right now we really need to focus on healing. It says, I'm a spiritual being, wondrously made. Whatever challenges I am coping with in my life or my body, they cannot discourage me when I remember that God is within me. I choose to see myself as a perfect expression of my divine nature. Truly nothing can keep my healing from me. If I feel discouraged, I remind myself that I have everything within me to experience healing. I affirm that I am one with the divine. I let go and let God's healing power wash over me. I am not swayed by outward appearances as I continue to see myself as whole and perfect. I am grateful for the gift of life and express that gratitude directly to my body and mind in moments of prayer. I maintain my steadfast faith in my ability to be healed, and I have an unshaken faith that it is done. Again, I am a spiritual being wondrously made. So it is. Let's begin now with invocation that is said at every Unity Church throughout the world. There's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
In this world, shine. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. I am alive. I am alive in this world. In this world. I am alive. I am alive in this world. In this world. This is place. This is time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. When I walk in the Spirit. I walk in the Holy Spirit. When I walk in the Spirit. I walk in the Holy Spirit. When I walk. When I move in the Spirit. I move in the Holy Spirit. When I move. When I move in the Spirit. I move in the Holy Spirit. When I move. When I pray in the Spirit. I pray in the Holy Spirit. When I pray. When I pray in the Spirit. I pray in the Holy Spirit. When I pray. When I talk, I'm talking to Spirit. I'm talking to Holy Spirit. When I talk. When I talk, I'm talking to Spirit. I'm talking to Holy Spirit. When I talk. When I talk. When I talk.
Okay, now we get to the part where we all affirm Unity's RGV affirmation and vision. Together we say, Unity Spiritual Center, RGV, is an expanding center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. Centered in God, we express the indwelling Christ. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my right here, right now, right where I am. I pray right here, right now, right where I am. I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my joy go deeper, my joy go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my joy go deeper, my joy go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
Now let's center our attention to the daily word for today, which is love. Our Bible verse is from John 1:4-7. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Today's affirmation is, I am loving presence to everyone I meet. Now let's say that together. I am a loving present to everyone I meet. Our message reads, it has been said that the world needs more love. The truth is that all the love the world could ever need is already present, everywhere, because God is love, and God is present everywhere. Created in God's image, I am divine love in human expression. I know that love is much more than a positive feeling. Divine love is energy of oneness itself. As I remain centered in divine love, I know oneness in God with all people, including those who are dear to me and those I have never met. Divine love helps me see good everywhere and in everyone. I look beyond conflict and limitation and find the good that is always mine to discover.
As we begin to meditate, simply allow your mind to notice your breath. Take a deep, calm breath in through the nose and exhale slowly through the nose. Breathe in and out. You might notice that attention to breathing automatically calms the mind, allowing the thoughts, images, and sounds to slowly fade into the background, leading the conscious mind to that state of peacefulness. Breathing is the magic carpet to that space of silence, the space of infinite love and boundless peace. Imagine that your body is now filled with light, a glorious light that fills even the empty spaces, extending outward in all directions, extending even to the quantum particles that are the field, the pattern that keeps the body stabilized in its form. Now imagine that as a group, we can fill our church with this light, the light of God. Direct this light to cleanse, purify, and transmute the vibrations of the entire area to the highest possible frequencies of pure God energy, of unconditional love, the love that Charles Fillmore called the creative substance of the universe. Now imagine that you can direct this light to your home, to your loved ones, your entire community. Notice that as all in your awareness becomes infused with a higher frequency of love and light, the world seems brighter, peaceful, more loving, and indeed it is, because the mind creates. Let us direct this light of transformation to COVID-19 and any transmutations or similar frequencies. See the light transforming and transmuting COVID-19 and similar aspects into energies of healing and love, infusing our church, community, state, and whole hemisphere, extending to the entire planet and beyond. Notice how wondrous it is to observe what's been destructive become pure love as each sentient being experiences a new sense of peace, cooperation, harmony, balance, and unity with all humanity. Now, in these new energies of love, unity, and manifestation, imagine that all in your personal world, prosperity and abundance fill every nook and cranny of existence. Every challenge has been resolved, even better than you've imagined. Your body is healthy, well, joyous, and abundant in every way, and you are a veritable light, a fountain of healing and love to all in your sphere of influence and beyond. Enjoy this infinite, boundless sea of love, light, and abundance, and know that this is the presence of Spirit Divine, and all is well in your world. When you're ready, take another deep breath and rejoin the present moment.
I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul. I've got a new day down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
Good morning. Today's talk is about prosperity, or prosperity consciousness. Several years ago, when I was enrolled in the Unity class by the same name, I did a series of talks on the subject of prosperity. To be more specific, the topic from the New Thought perspective is not so much about prosperity as it is about the underlying concept, which is prosperity consciousness. What's the difference? In a nutshell, the former is external and the latter is internal. If I were to ask the average person how they would define prosperity, they would probably answer something to the effect of having nice cars, a nice home, a great job, big bank account, things like that. And to be clear, these things are good and well, and they're in fact nice to have. But they all have one thing in common, and that is that they are out there, meaning they are things that need to be sought and acquired. Things that are not inherent to us, as a humanity, I mean, because there are some of us, well, not me, but some of us, who do inherit these things. Prosperity consciousness, on the other hand, is not about things that are out there. It's about something that is inherent to us. It is about what is in our mind, in our heart and our soul, and in our attitude. Prosperity consciousness is not something we have to go out and get. It is something we need to get in touch with. In short, it is a state of being, a state of consciousness. And it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of how we perceive things. It's the classic half-empty, half-full glass. Eric Butterworth, Unity minister and writer, defined prosperity as an all-encompassing idea, one that includes the whole experience of health, love, peace, harmony, and sufficiency. I had been wanting to address this topic for a while now, ever since we started talking about the idea of perhaps trying to find a more ideal location for our congregation. The reason being was because if we were to do something like that, the only way we could do it would be that we'd all have to get into a prosperity consciousness mentality. During one of my monthly conversations with my mentor, Reverend Medora, she mentioned that I needed to talk to you all about prosperity. She said that because she has the advantage of seeing us from a distance. And when you can step back and see things from a little bit of a distance, that's very helpful in seeing things a little more clearly. From her point of view, she can see that this spiritual community needs prosperity consciousness. We've been in the same group for a very, very long time. Now, that's not saying anything against us. It's just an observation. And the truth is, many people are content to be where we are. And that's okay. It is what it is. Anyway, so here we are in the middle of a global pandemic, and a lot of people are hurting financially as well as physically. Do people really need a pep talk at this point about prosperity? I think people do. And I know I do, because my business has fallen upon hard times, as they say, as well. And I've had to recenter myself into the idea of prosperity consciousness, and that somehow or another, as they say, you know, the birds in the fields do not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. And I need to be like those birds and not worry about how things are going to work and just say they're going to work. Last time I spoke on the subject, I said that prosperity in summary is about abundance. It is not about lack. And I or we need to be reminded of this all the time because we have a choice of how we see things and what we believe. And what we believe, we live. So that is the theory of it all. And what I want to do now is reference 2 books about prosperity from the Unity book collection. And the first one is called Prosperity, and it is by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore. The second is Eric Butterworth's book called Spiritual Economics, The Principles of Process of True Prosperity. Obviously, I can't cover the entirety of either one of the 2 books, but I do want to touch on some of the important ideas that are in them. To begin with, I want to remind you that Charles Fillmore wrote the book Prosperity during the Great Depression. And right now, we are in a very similar economic situation. So yeah, it's a good time to talk about that to everyone and remind yourself of all this. So let's get started with the basics of this prosperity business. I'll take it from the very beginning. But before I get started, let me clarify one thing, that when Unity New Thought talks about prosperity consciousness, that is not to be confused with what recently has been called prosperity gospel. I looked up what a prosperity gospel definition is, and it says this: prosperity theology, referred to as prosperity gospel, or the health and wealth gospel, or the gospel of success, is a religious belief among some Protestant Christians that financial blessings and physical well-being are always the will of God for us, and that faith, positive speech, and donations to religious causes will increase one's material wealth. Prosperity theology views the Bible as a contract between God and humans. If we humans have faith in God, God will deliver security and prosperity. So that sounds a whole lot like let's make a deal between God and mankind. Prosperity consciousness from the Unity perspective is not like that at all. We're not making deals. It's not an exchange thing. What it is a wake-up. The wake-up to the abundant flow of life and getting in tune with that flow and stop going upstream. Recall that for Unity, what happens in the outer world is a reflection of what happens in the inner world. So if you want to change the outer world, you change the inner world. Everything is a state of consciousness. Prosperity is no different. If you don't remember anything else, remember that. As Fillmore wrote, we are living our consciousness, our state of being, all the time. That actually makes perfect sense. And if it doesn't to you, then keep listening, and it will. So let's start at the beginning. Let's lay the foundation of all this stuff. Fillmore's first chapter of the book is called Spiritual Substance, the fundamental basis of the universe. What is he saying? He's saying exactly what it says. He's saying that the universe is fundamentally spiritual in nature, that spiritual substance is what the universe is made of. Now, important to clarify that when Fillmore talks about spiritual substance, he's not referring to matter or something that's a thing. He's using that language only because, well, he's got to use some language, and it's some time back a little bit when he said it. But I have this noted in my book. I wrote down, I'm not sure it's in there or why I wrote it, but this is what it says. Substance is not a thing. It is a no thing that can be anything. It is pure potential. As I like to keep reminding you, this is no longer some religious or spiritual mumbo-jumbo. Science is saying the same thing, that there really is no such thing as matter per se, that it is just energy. Now, some have referred to this non-matter, the spiritual substance, as quantum soup. I actually like that. So we can call it that if you like. Yes, it does appear like matter, but again, what it really is condensed energy. So all this stuff is energy, spirit, quantum soup, whatever you want to call it. And where is all this stuff? It's everywhere and in everything. And so what does that make it? It makes it abundant. It makes it opulent. It makes it all that there is. Are you familiar with the word opulent and its definition? This is what it says in the dictionary. Ostentatiously rich and luxurious or lavish. Makes you want to sink your teeth into it. Sounds so good. This is what the kingdom is all about. And I'm not talking about material things. I'm referring again to what Butterworth said, an all-encompassing idea that includes the whole experience of health, love, peace, harmony, and sufficiency. So material prosperity can be a byproduct of prosperity consciousness, but it's not the motivation. So the starting point of everything is an opulent, abundant universe. And that's not hard to see anymore. That's not hard to imagine. All we have to do is just go to the Hubble telescope and its website and see all the pictures, and you can see the abundance of this universe. That alone should help you get rid of the lack mentality if you have one. Now, one final note about opulence, and it comes from Butterworth. In the book, he says, there is no place anywhere in the universe where substance is any more or any less present than where you are right now. Now, is this prosperity consciousness some kind of new age crazy chatter? Not at all. It's actually in a lot of the passages of the New Testament. In Matthew 6:25, Jesus says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, or about your body or what you will wear. Is not life more than food and body, more than clothes? Look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap or store in barns, and yet Heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about your clothes? See how the flowers of the fields grow. They do not labor, they do not spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek ye first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So it's a simple message, really. One is live in the moment, and the other is, where's your focus? Are you focused in lack mentality? How are you going to get this? How are you going to get that? Or are you focused on an abundant universe? Here's another passage that I really like that demonstrates that prosperity is a state of mind. I won't read it all. I'll just tell you the story. Jesus is with the fishermen, and they're fishing. They're in a boat. And he asks them, how's the fishing thing going? And the guys say, not too good. There's nothing out here today. And Jesus tells them, cast your nets to the other side of the boat. And when they do, the nets are filled to the point where they can't even carry the nets. They are so full. Now, you think about that message. Cast our nets to the other side. Now, what could that possibly mean? That certainly can't be. These guys are on a relatively small little boat. To imagine or to think that literally there's fish on one side and not on the other is just, well, silly. So what he's really saying is that you got lack mentality in your mind. Cast it to the other side, to the abundance of the universe. And that works. And that's what happened in that story. This is what we in Unity refer to as a metaphysical or spiritual interpretation of the Bible. What is the real message? Let me give you one final example. And it's about the parable of the talents, it's called. And it says that there was a man, it says the kingdom of heaven, a lot of these stories down, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who went on a journey. And he was a rich man. And so he left to his servants, to 3 of them. He got one of the guys to say, here are 5 talents. I'm going to leave you with them. take care of them while I'm gone. To the other guy, he gave 2. And to the third, he gave 1. And it says, according to their ability. So when he left, he was gone for some time. When he came back, the first guy comes up and says, Lord, Master, look, I took your 5 talents and I invested them and I made 5 more. He said, wonderful. Now I'm going to give you more because of your skill. The second guy said, I did the same thing. I took your 2 and I made 2 more. I said, very good. I'm going to give you some more stuff now. The third guy said, Master, you only gave me 1 and I didn't think I wanted to take a chance of losing that 1. So I went and buried it. But I have it. Here it is. I'm returning it to you. And the master's not happy. He calls him, he says, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed and gather what I have strawed. Anyway, the point is, he gets mad at him and say, you know what? He took that away from him and gave it to the guy who has 5. And the story ends, for unto everyone hath given shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even what he has. Now, that doesn't sound consistent with a God who wants to give us the kingdom. That sounds more like the rich get richer. So what's the metaphysical spiritual story there? It is that this one guy had lack mentality. He was afraid of losing what little he had. So he did not take a chance. He did not make an investment. And that is total lack mentality. So that's a very important lesson to remember. And there's some real life stories you've probably heard about. I mean, I sometimes remember that the sports guys who have made like literally millions of dollars, boxers or whatever, and they end up broke. I said, how do you end up broke when you've made millions of dollars? And the idea is that you revert to your mentality, to your approach of seeing things. If you had a lack mentality, that's where you kind of default back to. And so this default mentality will always somehow make you broke again, no matter how much money you have, and vice versa. If you have an abundant mentality, you'll never be broke because somehow things will always work out. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts here. And the first one's from the Revealing Word, which is Unity's dictionary. It says, prosperity is the consciousness of God as the abundant, everywhere present resource, unfailing, ready for all who open themselves to it through faith. Prosperity is based on the conscious possession of the idea of God's abundance back of all things. Things come and go, but the idea of abundance endures. The second comes from both of the books. It is about how all of this stuff works. It says that you have to have faith. Eric Braden says you have to believe that this is how things work. Now, I come from a traditional background, and honestly, I always had a problem with the faith thing because I saw faith as believing in something that didn't make any sense to me. So I was never one that I would say was faithful or believed in the idea until I came upon this other definition that makes a whole lot more sense. And it comes from that book that I talked about once, Inner Peace for Busy People by Joan Borisenko, PhD. It says, in the end, faith is less a set of beliefs than your willingness to surrender to a mysterious force of love and guidance that helps you find your way. Now, I can actually buy into that, and I like that definition of faith, and that's the one that I use now. And as the last point I want to make for you is about, once again, how this formula works, this abundance. And it has to do with gratitude. The books say you have to have a grateful heart all the time. And again, in Unity, we would explain it's not gratitude to someone for having given you something, because that would kind of bring into question whether you, this, that, or the other, that at one time you didn't have it. No, it's a gratitude for what you have inherent in you that you've always had as one of your qualities. That's the kind of gratitude that we have in the New Thought movement. So I'm going to leave you with this. See abundance. Be safe. Be well. Keep your head on straight. Wash your hands. Use a mask. Practice social distancing. And so it is. Take care. We'll see you later. Now comes the time for our tithes and offerings, and I want to remind you that we have now, you can go to the Facebook page. You can pay through Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, or send us a check to P.O. Box 1661, which a lot of people have, in FAR 78577. So we take our thoughts of our money and everything else that we do, and we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I'll give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this